Mr. Hicks entered a plea to operating while intoxicated. First offense, not high BAC, not second offense. The matter was set for sentencing here this morning. Ms. Kiefer has prepared the screening report. Autumn. You just sent that to me. Let me look at the notes. Was the open intox dismissed, Luke?
No, Judge.
No, it was not. There's two cases, 23-1304 and 23-1306.
Yeah.
All right, so the open intox is also part of this. So I'll need to do a sentence on that also. All right, Luke, what would you like me to know?
A couple things, Judge. We reviewed the report. We reviewed the recommendation. I think they indicated in the report too that Mr. Hicks has a pre-trial for his Indiana case there on Monday. He very clearly and unequivocally states to me that this is going to be good for him to take a break from alcohol. And he recognizes how it's affected other people, how it's put other people in danger. And in Autumn's report too, he expressed the same of these terrible decisions that he had made. And the plan that they have put together too, in terms of the probation, he can, there will be a little coordination required, but he can go to the Northeastern Center, do a substance abuse assessment, do all the services that he would do if he lived in this county. And he wants to do that. Included in his Indiana case, when he will start his home detention, is that he will be drug tested. Understanding someone will come to his home and he will be drug tested. So there will be a little coordination. He can sign all those releases so that Autumn can have access to those. Judge, we read the recommendation. We're not asking court to look the other way in terms of jail time, but we would ask the court to put him on a term of probation, knowing that it will require some coordination. We appreciate that Autumn is willing to do that and be involved. Not that she has to do it all. I think Mr. Hicks will do as much as he can in terms of the heavy lifting. But we do think that the recommendation is appropriate. And I believe my client wants to address the court as well.
All right, I'll be frank. When I read this, I thought, I don't want this guy on probation. And I'm going to have some hard questions to ask here in a minute. Mr. Hicks, what would you like me to know?
It was never my intention to get behind the wheel and put anybody in danger that day. It just, poor decision making altogether. I really don't know what to say.
Well, it's hard to know, but it's more than poor decision making. And I was confused as to the facts because this arrest was at 8:30 in the morning on July 11th. And all the information talks about you drinking from 8:30 in the morning to 8:45 at night, and you're leaving work. And it wasn't clear whether you quit, got fired, just weren't working. Ms. Davis speaks to some of those issues in her recent email. So if I got it straight, you got arrested on July 11th, which was a very nice day. It was a Tuesday at 8:30 in the morning. And I think you spent all day Monday, July 10th, drinking. And I wasn't clear whether you actually went into work on July 11th, but you had a very high blood alcohol level, 0.28 at 8:30 in the morning. And you were on bond for a drinking driving charge in LaGrange County. You got a driving suspended charge in LaGrange County in June. And then this happened in July. And then you got a possession of a controlled substance in August in LaGrange County. Your license is suspended. It's a third offense, drunk driving. You have an extremely high blood alcohol level. Your driving was terrible. you're on bond for a drinking driving charge, and you got arrested subsequently on a drug charge. So I got some serious reservations about this. Deborah, I got your email about 15 minutes ago from Autumn, and then about 1 minute ago from you. I did have an opportunity to read it. What would you like me to know?
I apologize, Your Honor, I'd sent it to Judge Patterson thinking that was him. We don't.
Well, Judge Patterson took the plea, well, was gonna take the plea, in fact, did take the plea, and it got rolled over to me because of sobriety court potential. But there's multiple problems, but the least of which is an Indiana resident, so he's not eligible for sobriety court. So I was a little uninformed about what was what.
And I wasn't planning on coming to the sentencing, so I put a significant amount of writing into the email. But I just want to point out a few things, and maybe this is more for the defendant than the court, but I do take a lot of issue with the statements about the defendant's to Autumn when he met with her, that he's an occasional drinker. He only drank during a 45-minute period. In Autumn's report, it says 8 a.m. to 8:45 a.m. on the date of the offense. He was, in fact, called in as a be on the lookout or a bolo.
But that's not right, because he got arrested at 8. I had to look at it again to make sure I have my time right. He got arrested at 8:30 in the morning on July 11th.
It was 8:45, 8:50. The PBT was like at 9:10.
But it was in the AM.
Yes, it was AM. Yes.
Yes, okay.
And
So he wasn't drinking that day.
He told Autumn and
Yes, he was.
he said that he was drinking from 8 to 8:45 a.m.
Yes,
that day.
that's correct. What's in my report is absolutely what you told me.
All right, so he wasn't drinking 8:45 AM.
He had gone to work that
All right,
morning,
so you're talking about, okay, go ahead.
quit
On
his
the-
job,
on the-
walked
on-
out.
On the 11th,
Correct. Walked out. Said he had a bad day.
okay.
Walked out of his job. Had planned to go fishing that day. Went and got alcohol. Planned to go to the river. Had been to Sturgis. Drinking on the way back. Was pulled over. So the way the chronological order in the report goes is exactly the way he told me it happened that day.
But
So
he
it
didn't
was all
drink
that
till, he
morning.
didn't drink till 8:45 that night because he
No,
got arrested.
No, everything says AM.
It's all AM.
It's all
Oh,
AM.
Okay,
So
So there's
again,
no
Well, so-
12-hour period.
and
It's
I don't think, he had Bud Light. He couldn't drink that much alcohol
I
in
just
that
wrote
amount
in
of
the
time.
report what I was advised.
All right,
so going back
All
to
right,
that, a gentleman called in to 911. I listened to the 911 call this morning, that this individual in this truck was all over the road. They believed him to be a drunk driver. And when the dispatcher asked, well, what makes you think that? He said, well, he ran up over the curb and he's all over the road. And as the dispatcher was trying to get the information from him, he said, oh, there's the police. And so he hung up. So the police officer was in the area, thankfully, where the defendant was driving. So he got him immediately after the call came in. So, I have a strong suspicion that if in fact he was working that day, it wasn't his choice to leave due to his level of intoxication. I don't think any work would want somebody being there if they're that intoxicated. And then later in the video, because I did try to go through the entire video, he admitted that he had gone to work, but there was no work because they were on shutdown. They had been shut down for like 4 weeks. So, I mean, as the court knows, it's not plausible to reach a 0.28 BAC in 45 minutes of consuming alcohol. It's also not plausible that he was as coherent as he was in answering questions and, monitoring what he's saying to make it most beneficial. Like, oh, I haven't drank since 11 o'clock the night before. And know that can of Bud Light that you see in my console that I included a picture of, that's my spitter. And he did have chewing tobacco in his mouth.
but he said it was 90% full.
It was 90% full, and
see
it was
that.
a positive on the passive PBT, and it was plain old Bud Light in there when he poured it out. There wasn't a chew spit in it. So again, I wouldn't have known this. It wasn't in the report, but it was in the body cam, which was provided to the defense. Officer Jimenez from Sturgis PD arrived to assist and made it even more frustrating by telling Deputy Herman that this is the same individual who they dealt with the night before at Walmart, being what they believed was highly intoxicated, although he claimed he was having a diabetic issue. But from what Officer Jimenez said, this individual lied about who was driving the vehicle and how he got there, and some girlfriend.
Yeah, he has a wife and 2 children, but the day before there was a girlfriend.
Yeah, and so there was some confusion about is there a girlfriend? Is he lying about having a girlfriend, or is he lying about it completely? But at any rate, there was no short Hispanic female that would have been driving that vehicle the way that the seats were at the time. I don't know whatever resulted with that. Obviously didn't come into us. I think it was just somebody probably came and got him type of thing. But my suspicion is he's probably been drinking the entire night since Sturgis PD had contact with him. So with this again, he lied about having his ID on him at the beginning of the interaction with the deputy. He's asked if he has an ID, and he's rummaging through his shorts, and he pulls out something, and he's like, oh, it's just my key to my house. But after he's arrested, he magically has his ID in his pocket. He's been lying about a lot of things, and he lied about the open intox. He lied about the ID. He's done nothing to address his substance abuse problems that I can tell. As the court noted, he was on bond. I do want to note that I believe that the possession of marijuana in Indiana was actually an incident that occurred before his OWI that he was arrested on in January of 23. It just was recently where he pled to that marijuana charge. I did have contact after receiving this ticket coming through. I contacted the LaGrange County Prosecutor's Office because I felt very strongly, even not even knowing that he had this issue the night before, that they needed to know what was going on here. And apparently that then kind of caused them to take some action down there. It's my understanding that he is still charged with the OWI in Indiana from January of 23, which is an aggravating factor to me that he admits that he drank after being arrested on this charge. Oh, the weekend after he drank alcohol again, and he's on bond for the second OWI in a 6-month period, a third OWI overall, and on bond for the marijuana charge. He's clearly not ready to take sobriety seriously. He's a danger to the public driving around at 8:45 in the morning with a BAC that's 3 times the legal limit. He had no job at the time of meeting with the probation department, although he claimed he was going to fill out an application. So I don't know if he's working now. I question what he's been doing with his life since mid-July when this happened, as he surely hasn't gotten himself into any treatment. So I'm requesting that the court take him into custody today, that he sit in custody in the St. Joseph County Jail until September, I believe it's September 28th, when he could be released to serve his period of detention in Indiana. I don't think using the resources of our probation department is beneficial in this case because he doesn't care to recognize the seriousness of his addiction, and he's still got the pending charge in Indiana. Thank you.
Thank you. As Luke said, Autumn, you were willing to do a probation. I'm not sure I am, but is there anything you wish to add?
Well, after the prosecutors, I'm not sure there is, but I do think Mr. Hicks has a serious alcohol problem, even though he claims that him and his wife don't feel that he does. I think he does. He would highly benefit from a sobriety court program, but as court's already stated, he's an Indiana resident. He's got pending cases in LaGrange. I'll do whatever the court wants to do. I felt a probation would be highly warranted in this with all these facts. And I was willing to work with him as much as I possibly can, leave a bunch of jail over his head, but I'll do whatever the court feels is necessary. But his 90 days in LaGrange County he was aware that I would put a stop if he was on probation, and I'd restart everything after he was up from the 90 days, because I don't feel him being at home for 90 days is going to benefit anything on our probation, but I'll do whatever you want.
Yeah. Now it says it's concurrent with 222493.
Yeah, disregard that.
I had trouble figuring it out, but it's concurrent with the open intox.
Correct. 231306 ST.
All right, and so that was one of the questions that Debbie's email helped clear up. Well, let's take care of that one. 23 1306 ST is a open intox charge. It was a 16-ounce Bud Light can that they said was 90% full. So I hope that wasn't 90% spit. Debbie said it was beer. So 2 days credit, 2 days concurrent with the other case, 1304. And no fine and costs in that case. Which brings us to the drinking driving charge. It was a plea to an OUIL first. It's not a third because you weren't convicted of the Indiana charge before this. You were charged, but you weren't convicted. Ms. Davis brings up a real good question. What have you been doing since July 11th?
I've been out looking for work. I was supposed to start at Winnebago. They require a background check, no criminal history in the last 5 years. I blew that out of the water.
So that Winnebago thing isn't about to transact?
No, it's not going to happen.
But I mean, have you gone to an AA meeting? Have you talked to a counselor? Have you done anything to address any of this?
I haven't.
All right. Well, Autumn's right. You could certainly benefit from the intensive probation of sobriety court, but according to you, you don't even have a problem.
I have a problem, Your Honor.
He doesn't really
Yeah,
drink a lot. I
yeah.
would estimate he drinks alcohol 4 times a month. I don't know what was going on, but you were having a real bad time July 10th and 11th. I don't know. You do have diabetes, which this isn't helping that at all. You're killing yourself. And you got a number of arrests this year. The OUIL in Indiana, driving suspended in Indiana, the drug charge in Indiana, and this case. I don't know what happened. If you went to work that morning, you were drunk when you went to work. So I don't know if you got fired when you showed up drunk.
I'm sorry.
Go
I just
ahead.
went in and got my tools and left.
Okay.
Didn't want to do it. I don't know.
All right. So you just got your tools and left, and did you tell anybody you quit, or you just walked out the
I
door?
just walked back to the truck and went home.
All right. What precipitated that?
I just stress, burnout.
All right. Well, I don't know what was going on the night before at Walmart, but I suspect you drank a very large amount of alcohol the day and the evening before, and then started all over again in the morning. I've seen it, and it's a huge red flag when someone's a 2-3. That's almost 3 times the legal limit. That means they have a high alcohol tolerance and they have an alcohol substance abuse disorder. When I see it at 8:30 on a Tuesday morning, that raises a few more red flags. And when it's beer, you have to drink an awful lot of beer to get to that amount of blood alcohol level. And then your statement is you don't really drink that much. But you do, and I don't really want you on a probation. You got this other thing going on. You have 2 days credit. I'm gonna order 32 days jail credit 2, leaving 30 days to serve. You got enough problems. I'm gonna waive the fine, which would be $500. There's a $75 crime victims' rights fee, a $50 state minimum fee, a $100 screening fee, $150 attorney fee, $200 restitution to the sheriff's department. Let's add that up. I see how good you are, Frank.
Here, Raymond.
I get 575. Let me try again. 75 plus 50 plus 100 plus 150 plus 200. 575. Frank was overbilling you.
That's right, Frank.
Let's put my fees back to, sir.
The bailiff oversight fee. 9. I'm gonna make that due by 12/31/23. There are ultimate lots of different sentencing goals, but this one's punishment. You were suspended, you were on bond, you lied to the police, you were very dangerous driving, you continued to drink after the fact, and you've done nothing to address your problem since July. Not one thing. So we're going to give you 30 or so days of forced sobriety. And then you can go to LaGrange County and start your sentence there. How'd you get here today?
I drove.
On a suspended license?
No, I have a license. I've had a license since August 10th. I got reinstated.
All right,
No?
fair enough. Well, you're gonna lose it. All right, you have to call somebody to do something with your car. You can go with the officer. Let me give you the envelope regarding the fine.
All right. Sorry about messing up the judge. Oh, he's not mine.
Oh, you're right. Tim called me. You're right.
I'm not even gonna look to see whether he has a valid license. So hope for the
Oh,
best.
no, you're fine. Thank you.